The heart of the matter is that truth matters. That summarizes what you just read. The heart of the matter is that truth matters. So the Pharisees had become very good at finding loopholes. We are very good at finding loopholes. Don't point fingers. We are very good at finding loopholes. We are. We can justify our sin. We can find out ways to tell a lie and say, well, that wasn't technically a lie. It was just a white lie. Where'd the idea of white lies come from? Now we're like rating our lies. What makes it a white lie? How many people does it need to hurt in order for it to be a white lie? Because every lie actually impacts your soul because you're the one doing it. And Jesus is the father of truth. Satan is the father of lies. So there's all sorts of repercussions for telling lies and finding loopholes. But that's what the Pharisees would do. They would look at the law and they'd figure out how to perform the outside part of the law. This is what we've been talking about each week. And Jesus said, you're missing the point. You're figuring out how to lie, even though I told you word for word this is what you're supposed to do. Like, okay, so you mean we can do this? People do it on their taxes. People do it with contracts today. So you write, you have to read these 40, 50-page contracts when you do anything important. You buy a car, you buy a house, 50-page contract. You're going, what's going on here? Well, either they're trying to deceive you and they can slip it in on page 42, because who's going to read 50 pages of a contract? Or they're trying to protect themselves from a lawsuit. There's all sorts. Nobody can trust anybody anymore. Why do we need a 50-page contract? Are you not trustworthy? No, we live in a society full of people that are not trustworthy. That's why people swear. Like, no, I swear I'm telling the truth this time. Shouldn't you be telling the truth every time? Why do you have to swear that the truth is being told this time? It's something one of the commentators said is, the more words you have to use to convince me you're telling the truth, the less likely I am to trust that you're actually telling the truth. He said it something like that. And it's very true. We live in a really strange time, even really recently, where it seems like people are okay lying, and lying even publicly. Somebody might come to mind when you think about that, but I just think about several lies that have been told that have been shown to be lies after the fact. Now when we watch politicians, they have fact checkers. You have to have a fact checker because the guy's actually planning on lying to you. And if you watch the fact checker from CNN, he'll tell you, if it's a liberal person, everything they said is true. And if you watch the fact checker on Fox News, they'll say everything that person said is a lie. So even your fact checkers are lying. This is a very deceptive time that we live in, and there's lots of consequences when you can't believe the truth about what people are saying. I'm going to say it, and it's going to be recorded, and it's probably a bad idea to say, but I'm going to say it. Are masks good for you, or are they bad for you? It all depends on which person you're listening to. And they can each show you statistics that show, yes, you should do the mask. No, you should not do the mask. Yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. And you can even find the same people just at different times changing their mind, and they're supposed to be experts, and they say, yes, no. Well, the ends justify the means, so I'll lie to you today, but tomorrow I'll tell you the truth. None of these loopholes or things are good for anybody. When a whole society is based on lies, people start getting very frustrated and very confused and not know what to do. And so telling the truth is really important. In fact, this is one of the main reasons Jesus came to the earth. When Pilate asked him this very question, he said, you are a king, said Pilate. And Jesus answered, yes, you say that I am a king. In fact, the reason Jesus was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. That's John 18:37. So Jesus came to testify to the truth. He also said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14:6. There's a lot that Jesus says about truth, but he's claiming to be the truth. And he also says that Satan is the father of lies, as we learn in John 8:44. He is a liar and the father of lies. So Satan is the father of lies. So when we tell the truth, I think we're showing which team we're on. And when we lie, I'm sure there's cheering going on somewhere else if they're following what's going on in our lives. Like, yes, they told a lie. Our team winning. Oh, they told the truth. Oh, our team's losing down there. Our team's winning, right? It's which team are you on? So let's look at our passage and then we'll dissect it a little bit more. Again, you've heard it, that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but you shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. Seems pretty straightforward. The law was really clear, but then the Pharisees figured out ways to swear on other things, which is what verse 34 gets into. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. What's the point in all this? You have to know what the Pharisees were saying. We're not going to get into all the semantics of it, but the Pharisees were lying by swearing on other things, because it says, don't swear to God and then tell a lie. So they said, okay, I'll swear on Jerusalem, or they'll swear on all these other things so that they can get away with their lie. I see the same thing happen today. Do you know how fast you were going? The officer might ask, and you're like, I'm not answering that question, right? Or you're like, no, officer, there was 45? That's crazy. I didn't know there. Yes, you did. So let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. As we listen to this, you go, I will find a verse that shows that white lies are okay. You're missing the point. Jesus is saying our hearts are not good. And I'm so thankful that it's not in order to bring condemnation. The Pharisees needed to be reminded, you are not good, you need God. You're not good enough. You're really good at following rules, but your heart's still gross. You're really good at finding loopholes, which is not the purpose. You're supposed to look for the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. The letter you can always find loopholes in, but the spirit of the law, what's your heart in this? Why are you trying to deceive people? So the ends do not justify the means. That's not a biblical idea. The ends justify the means is not a biblical idea. People think it all the time, they say it all the time, but well, if I tell this lie but it brings about a greater good, then I can do it. No, not okay. There's so many loopholes we look for, but that one's not okay either. So let's look at a couple more supporting verses, some cross-references about lying. I think maybe the most important one is one that Pastor Raymond mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before, Proverbs 6:17, 6 things the Lord hates. Second one on the list, a lying tongue. You're like, all right, well, how can I figure out how to lie without my tongue? Maybe I'll write. No, you're missing the point again. The Lord hates lying. So tell the truth. You're like, well, if I'm not going to use my tongue. I'll figure out other ways to do it. I'll use a pen. I'll use a computer. That can't be lying, right? He only hates the lying tongue. I will use the lying pen. No. Loophole. Wrong heart. That's the Pharisee idea. Look for the loophole. We're not supposed to look for the loophole. So John 8:31 and 32 says this, Then Jesus said to the Jews who had believed in him, If you continue in my word, you really are my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. How important is the truth? How important is it to know Jesus, who is truth? It's so important that it'll set you free from your bondage to lies and sin and all sorts of other things. So another verse, Proverbs 12:22, makes it pretty clear. The heart of the Lord here. The Lord detests lying lips. You're like, oh, he said the lips. All right, now we can't use the lips or the tongue. No, he hates lying, but he delights in those who tell the truth. That's Proverbs 12:22. Proverbs 12:2 says everyone lies to their neighbor. So if you're in this Bible study and you're like, this is a great study for my friend or for this famous politician that's a great liar. Everyone lies to their neighbor. If we aren't living in a time where this is true, I don't know what's going on. And then they flatter with their lips but harbor deception in their hearts. Oh, hey friend, you're so awesome. You're the best. Can you believe she did that? Okay. As soon as you get out of their presence, then you share how you actually feel about them. That's pretty gross too. The Lord doesn't like that. You're being deceptive even in the way you're interacting with people. So this is what my mom used to always say, but it's true. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you don't have a nice thing to say to their face, maybe just keep your mouth shut, because we're supposed to let our words build people up. Remember Ephesians 4:29, let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth. So if you don't have something nice to say, you really shouldn't say anything at all. And it's not, if you don't have something nice to say, wait until they're not there and say it behind their back. That's not nice either. This message is not about gossiping, but there's a little freebie for you. So when is it okay to lie? Well, let me list a few. No, there aren't. It's not okay to lie. Okay, don't look for the exceptions. Look for trying to tell the truth whenever possible. You're like, I can find an opportunity. Your heart's probably wrong if you did figure out how to lie in a specific situation and to justify it biblically. I would imagine, just like people are like, oh, righteous anger. Okay, well, righteous anger is a very clear biblical thing. I just probably rarely have it. But what about this particular scenario? Let's talk about a very specific scenario. So the father of a great man, this is how the story goes, Immanuel Kant. So Immanuel Kant's father was an old man. He made a perilous journey through the forests of Poland to his native country of Cilicia. This is supposed to be a true story. On the way, he encountered a band of robbers who demanded all his valuables, finally asking, have you given us all? And only letting him go when he answered, all, I've given all. When safely out of their sight, his hand touched something hard in the hem of his robe. It was his gold, sewn there for safety and quite forgotten by him in his fear and confusion. At once, this is the crazy part of the story, at once he hurried back to find the robbers, and having found them, he said meekly, I have told you what was not true. It was unintentional. I was too terrified, I was too terrified to think. Here, take the gold in my robes. Then, to the old man's astonishment, nobody offered to take his gold. Presently, one went and brought back his purse. Another restored his book of prayer, while still another led his horse toward him and helped him to mount. They then unitedly entreated his blessing and watched him slowly ride away. Goodness had triumphed over evil. But who knows? People don't seem to be able to tell the truth anymore, so it's kind of hard to figure out. But I swear to you it's true. No, you missed it. No, you're not supposed to swear that anything is true, right? You're not supposed to swear by God. You're not supposed. Your character is supposed to be evidence enough. And the fact that you're telling the truth, you should just be able to say, yes, I'm telling the truth.